Hey everyone, here with Bob. We're going to be doing some exciting videos going forward. Happy to be doing these videos with you guys. I guess to give people an introduction, we're going to be talking about the company, talking about Bob's background, talking about some of the other directors' backgrounds as well, what their day-to-day roles are, but more importantly, talking about the industry, talking about the business. First things first, Bob, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. Almost the weekend, but
Really? Yeah.
going into it, I guess.
You mean weekends actually exist?
No, they don't. But I mean, it's a tiny bit slower. But hey, good weather. At least it is the summer. Can enjoy a little bit of the outdoors on the weekend. So.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess here, so to kick things off, let's do a little intro. I think for people, typically the best is, maybe you can start with where you went to school, first couple jobs, and we'll go from there.
All right, great. Yeah. Probably the first job I had, the real job I had, was the U.S. Air Force. So I went in the U.S. Air Force in 1980. So now I just gave everyone my age, right? So, yeah, and I did 10 years in the Air Force. I went through, did a lot of college in the Air Force. I think I left the Air Force with 178 credits and no degree, just because I was taking all the fun, cool classes. And of course, the military is a tremendous opportunity for education. Yeah. Then I got out and I went to Liberty University because they had an online program that really catered to veterans. So I finished my bachelor's there and I finished my master's there. And I have an MBA. My background is in communications and systems design for I did that for the federal government after I got out of the Air Force, and I met my mentor inside the Pentagon while I was in the military, and I became a civilian and worked with him. Really, just jumped company to company as the contracts shifted from company to company, and different Beltway bandits they're called, and inside the DC Beltway. Worked to design systems for Intel systems, and my last job there was designing a system for the Partnership for Peace, which was a U.S. paid for and led program that would bring the former Soviet and Warsaw Pact countries in the NATO fold. And they had we had some cooperation among us all, and once you met the requirements of the program, then you'd be forwarded for inclusion in NATO, and a lot of countries, we saw a lot of countries become NATO countries through that. I got out, and I probably need to back up and say,
yep.
Because I was kind of an underachiever there for a while. I didn't actually finish my bachelor's till I was almost 50, and I did my master's right behind it. And I think I did that so I could hold it over my kids' heads, to tell you the truth. Yeah, and say, see, you have to go to school now. Of course, it didn't work, but I was working in technology fields, doing satellite communications company for the American Red Cross and for the Pentagon, and I was approached by guys to build LED lighting for Africa. And I got into that. It was incredibly interesting, and that's pretty much all she wrote. That's what I've done ever since.
So here, let me open it up. Like, holy smokes, Air Force obviously sounds crazy. And then obviously going into, you're working for companies. Tell me how a guy in the Air Force, and then over the next 30 years goes from Air Force to working for companies to finishing his master's to then LEDs. Like what was there feels like there's a missed something somewhere where what made you go, hey, like LEDs, like I want to work with lights.
Well, I've always been interested in light, although I was not a very strong physics student. I like to think I'm much stronger now. But I was always interested in lights, and I was interested that you could get this little chip of silicon and put some power on it, and it would create light. Of course, it creates heat too, but I was just fascinated by that. And when the first real high brightness LEDs came out, and those were LEDs that you could see by, not just to be seen. Like, I mean, we've seen all the movies with all the red LEDs on the panels, and and the red and green and yellow LEDs on panels, but the Philips came out with a really bright white LED, and I said, hey, why not make a street light out of that? So I did, then I started getting strange telephone calls. LEDs have the ability to, you can tailor the frequency output of the LEDs for specific purposes. So I started getting telephone calls from like Mauna Kea, said, we want you to, design some lighting for our parking lots so they don't interfere with our telescopes. Okay, did that for Hanauma Bay in Hawaii as well, for national parks. And then I got a telephone call from Florida Coast turtle sanctuaries. They asked me to help them design a light for the turtle sanctuaries that the baby turtles could not see. And if you're not familiar with it, we had a tremendous downfall in the population of sea turtles because the baby turtles, when they hatch, they're naturally attracted to the moon, and that is usually out to sea. And if the baby turtles can get in the sea, then they're safe.
Yeah.
Well, with all of the hotels and streetlights, the baby turtles were actually crawling inland. So when the sun came up, then they became, basically food for seagulls and crabs. And that's where the sea turtle population went. So I worked with the engineers down in Delray Beach, down south of Delray Beach. We came up with a frequency that the baby turtles can't see, but humans can. And they outfitted their parking lots at the sea turtle sanctuaries, and it worked tremendously well. And then about 2 years after that, I got that fateful call from a guy in California. Said, hey, can you grow plants with this? And I said, yeah, I suspect you can. And I started looking at it, and I said, what kind of plants you want to grow? And guess what he wanted to grow? He wanted to grow cannabis. So I said, well, I could probably work that out. So I started to look at it, and there's a long story behind how that happened. But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take a breath and let you go for a minute.
Yeah, well, to anybody watching this, you're the turtle savior. Everyone thinks turtles are awesome, turtles are cute, this and that, especially sea turtles. I'm sure everyone's seen that, seen the videos where they hatch and then they start crawling towards the ocean. It looks like there's an army of turtles at night. So hey, awesome. It's crazy. I would have never thought, they're going towards the moon, which is typically the water. So you're working here and there, getting these odd calls, working on some cool projects. At least that's what it seems. Maybe pick, before we hop into the next part, what were your favorites? Saving turtles versus working, saving or like doing stuff in Africa. Like, what was some of your favorite projects so far?
Well, the turtles was probably what I'm most proud of up until I started to create horticultural lighting, and we're also working on some red light therapy for human therapy as well. I think that's going to far eclipse, probably won't eclipse the sea turtle because they're cuter than we are, but yeah, I'm. The sea turtle is definitely a plus. I had a lot of fun doing the Hanauma Bay parking lot for the Rangers. We made them remote control and wind and solar powered. So I told them, hey, these things are going to have to come down in 3 years, and you can still find videos of them today. And that was now really that's going to be 2004.
Oh wow.
2004, 2006. Yeah, so it's been quite a while. those lights have been up there. And I think as recently as like a year and a half ago, somebody had taken a video of the one of the wind and solar power streetlights with the wind turbine just screaming in the wind because it's really windy up on that bluff at Hanama Bay. Yeah, so and our progress in the horticultural lighting is my proudest technical achievement today. Well, technical achievement, I'm gonna say my proudest achievement are my kids, but as far as technology goes, the lighting for plants, it's come quite a ways, and we've learned quite a bit, and we've buried ourselves in the science of it rather than the hype and popular opinion, and we have a great product.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll do videos in the future about, you know, lights for plants and growing crop, all that stuff, but also, you know, kind of the red light therapy that you touched on. We'll save those for other videos. You know, Bob, you say you don't like doing these, but you're doing pretty well so far. So as much as you don't like doing them, you might have to be on more of them.